Welcome to Instant Discussions. This week we are discussing Mr. Nobody, which Steffan picked without seeing.
Yes, a
blind pick movie. Are you're pleased with that? You're happy with this? I guess we'll see as we go into this.
No talking about the movie here.
Wait. So this is a film on Netflix Instant Watch. It's not one that got a wide release in theaters. So I hadn't really heard about it before I saw it start popping up on Netflix. But have you heard about this movie before?
Never in my life.
Not at all. Let's go with first impressions of the film.
I only know of it from Instant.
From just seeing it on the its recommendations.
Yeah.
So what did you think as it first started up?
I don't know. I was just kind of going along with it. I'm trying to remember the very beginning. Oh, that's right.
There were a lot of film company logos that were not ones I recognized. A lot of French stuff in the beginning,
and then there was
artistic things.
Super old.
And then there was a mouse.
Jared.
And then there was super old Jared Leto.
Yeah.
What? It started with a pigeon.
Or a pigeon. No, that was a mouse. See, I forgot how the whole thing. It was a pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was getting the treats, and he was pressing the button to get the treats.
Yeah, the pigeon superstition.
And then they set it on the timer. Yeah. The superstition. So how do we...
All about expectations and all that.
Yeah, cause and effect. Do we know what do our choices affect what happens? We think that some of the choices affect what happens. Yes, so setting it up.
And then getting paranoid whether or not our choices actually mean anything.
Mm-hmm. So it was a good setup once you get to the end of it, but it's
So the setup that intrigued me because I'm really into psychology and all that. And
I kind of forget about it as I'm watching the story unfold. You forget about the beginning of it.
Yeah.
What happens in there. But definitely seemed very artsy French at the beginning.
I think it continued to do that.
Yes,
but yeah,
it seemed less French.
Yes.
It seemed less French as it went
Less
on.
French.
It seemed a little too French at the beginning, but definitely went less French. How about you?
I like how he comments on, nothing's happening like a French film. When he says that, I was sort of busting up. I really liked it since at the very beginning. I liked it all the way through until the end when I thought like something amazing was going to happen, and I was like, all right, that's cool.
All right.
I was also very confused when the Asian girl spoke with a British accent. I did a double take, like, what the hell's going on? You know, you're used to American accent or the Ching Chang Chong one.
One of the two.
Yeah.
I think if you grow up in England and grew up in that area, you get that a lot more. It's kind of like if you watch Doctor Who and you see everyone speaking with a British accent, so you get Asian speaking with British accent. Get
No, I know, but I'm just saying for me.
Black speaking with British accent.
A little crazy.
It happens. Yeah.
That was a little over the line.
Yeah. Come on now. That's just ridiculous. Suspension of disbelief. So, favorite parts. Favorite parts of the movie. Thinking on all of it. I think I like the beginning. From what
I like the
from
pigeon.
What it says. The pigeon.
I really like that part.
I think it was about 3/4 of the way into it that I got a strong sense. It took me a while for this to click, but I got this strong connection to Slaughterhouse-5 about 3/4 of the way into it, which is one of my favorite books. So that I really like that with the jumping through time.
I've actually read that one.
Yeah, seeing time in a non-linear way, just looking at the moments of
choices.
Your life. Yeah, looking at all the things, how it affected it. It doesn't go so much into the choices in that book. That kind of goes more towards a kind of Matrix trilogy thing and looking at the way that you look at choices.
This is one of those films that's really hard to pick a moment.
Yeah,
because it's so
there's so many different moments that are all jumbled up together.
Yeah,
you know what I did like the beginning when the kid's explaining everything. He's a daddy, and his name is Daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the beginning. I thought it was cute.
So they said that the angel didn't touch his lips, so he didn't have the split there, and then
later
he did. He totally did the whole thing.
Because
that made me notice it after that point. I'm looking like, wait,
yeah,
he had it.
I liked when the mom fell, and he's like, yay.
That part was funny.
I like the idea.
brother!
The idea of the 118-year-old man, the last mortal alive. When they
I didn't like
started
his
talking about
voice.
that. Nah, it was a little. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where I've noticed a lot in films, especially Prometheus. It reminded me a lot of that one with the young actor playing old age, like, such extreme old age, where it's really difficult to get that. And I mean, in Prometheus it was weird because they weren't doing the jump in time, so they could have just hired a 90-year-old actor and
Yeah.
him up. But I mean, this one I think too. I don't know. They don't really show the age in between modern day Jared Leto and 118-year-old Jared Leto. So I might have cast a different actor in that part. But it was interesting to see him get to do that. I mean, it's kind of an acting exercise at that point.
His eyes are pretty like prominent though.
Yeah.
Like, and you could tell.
Oh
it's him.
yeah, those beautiful blue eyes.
Oh, yeah, no,
It's like looking into the ocean for miles.
um,
You know what I didn't like? I didn't like the beginning where it was like all future. And that dude has a thing in his mouth, and somebody's like in a hamster ball just walking around. And I was like, this.
You don't like the future.
That was
craziness?
corny future.
A
little too corny.
I think the only the issue that I have with it is the film was so dense with stuff going on that it was. I was watching it and thinking, wow, this is a really long movie. How much longer is it? And I saw it was an hour and a half left, and it had only been a half hour.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a lot of movies where it's very slow paced and drags in the beginning. There's just so much going on, and it keeps jumping from different things that it feels like more time has passed as you're watching it. It feels long because there's so much going on there. So I think that was probably the only issue I had with it, is just how long it felt like it took.
I think I checked how long was left when I think there's 45 minutes left when I checked.
Okay.
Roughly.
Yeah, I checked it.
You guys
that
are
one,
supposed to check.
It's just I was watching it. I started watching it on the iPad before I moved to the television, but I had just touched the screen, so the little thing pops up.
Oh.
So I was like, just curious, how much more of my day is this gonna take? Because I didn't check how long the movie was when I began watching it.
I think it's 10 minutes.
2:15 or something.
Yeah, 2:15.
something like that.
I mean, we could look right down here where it says, well, the film's an hour and 41 minutes. The director's cut is an hour and 57 minutes. So I guess we didn't watch the director's cut.
So
What parts did they
it's
take out of
not,
there?
Not the director's cut.
The visuals were amazing too.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I think so. The moment for me, what I had in my mind earlier, the moment where I was realizing that it wasn't reality as what's going on. I think the Mars stuff that was going on because we saw Mars stuff going on in the beginning, and him talking about and then it gets to him writing about Mars. So then you're like, is that him just the story coming through? And when the one girl tells him that she wants her ashes scattered on Mars when she dies, all of that then seemed too convenient even for a movie, for all those things to actually take place. And that's where, to me, I started to not think that all of this is actually happening. So that was the moment for me. Things were just a little too convenient with him getting to Mars in that time, since she had wanted him to.
Yeah.
But I loved all the different choices blurring together, and kind of him jumping through realities.
Yeah, I really enjoy the whole like causality thing. And I mean, if I was going to choose something that's my favorite, it'd probably be that, and just exploring.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Each of the choices. And,
yeah.
And
it was I actually did like the source of all of it. That was the divorce and choosing between the two parents, and that was like the
but what a
short
fucked
story
up moment! Holy shit!
Oh,
like, right when that moment, I'm like, wait, are you serious?
Oh yeah, no.
Like this is when you bring this up right before you're leaving.
I was thinking like they would have done that before. Like they would have waited till the very
and
end
this
of
is
that.
why, because they waited that moment. This would lead to that huge trauma that causes all of this, because it's such a sudden choice for him, and he has to think in that split decision, and he's afraid of the consequences of either choice.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big choice to make. So, as it was saying in the end, at first he was paralyzed because he didn't know the consequences of either choice. At the end, he knew the consequences of either choice and was therefore paralyzed.
Yeah. It didn't
matter whether you know or
it was
you
that
don't
quote.
know.
There was a quote in there. He was just like, before the child didn't know, and then after he didn't know.
I don't like his name either.
Nemo nobody.
Just Nemo.
They don't really ever call him Nemo Nobody, but I mean, he says Mr. Nobody in the beginning, and then Nemo throughout the thing. I mean, Nemo's fine. It's, you know,
I just don't like it.
that 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea,
Little Nemo.
Yeah, Little Nemo.
all that stuff. Very adventurous. It's French. Yeah, it was a Belgian, Canadian, French, German film. But I like that. It was also with another one of my favorite short stories, The Occurrence on Owl Creek Bridge. But that kind of everything happening in an instant. Also, I guess Contact has that in there, in a different kind of way.
And I guess, I mean, I really wish there was a bigger payoff too. Like, there was like so like.
Because I really got into it and everything coming together, and then it was just like big crunch time, and I was like,
It's always it's always tough when you watch something and invest your time in a story,
and it literally has a ticking clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing, and nothing happens. It never happened. It was all in the mind. However, I do.
I mean, it's sort
I
of
like
happened.
the exploration of it. Yeah,
But
it all had the potential of happening, and
I mean, like at 5:50 a.m. on whatever it was, you know,
yeah,
kind of goes backwards, and then but he's like acknowledging it or whatever, traveling backwards with it, as opposed to not. Like,
but it's all everything. Nothing in the story actually happened.
yeah.
From what they tell us here, it's all in his mind. So even though it's being told from the perspective of the 118-year-old man, that's not even a reality.
Yeah, that's
that's him as a kid thinking about what the future is like, and that's why the future is so weird and so sci-fi heavy, and way beyond what society would advance in that amount of time, and the ability and how he was able to go to Mars so easily as a younger man, and there was a lot of reality in it because he's seen he's put into this real moment, but you get all of that fantasy going through there.
I guess the main thing is like, yeah, because it treats it like the narrative, the old man narrative. That's it treats it like that's the reality the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's not.
But it's not. It's him as a kid.
Yeah.
See, I still wasn't
boy.
even sure if it was the kid just like looking to see how things would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't even sure of that.
I'm inclined to believe what they tell you is that it's the child thinking back on all of that.
But then when you
Because
think
that
about it,
makes-
like that's a lot of shit for a little
yeah,
kid to think up.
yeah. Oh, it's a lot
kid.
of stuff. But kids have
Imagination.
powerful imaginations.
Yeah, but
Imagination.
I think he's been through. I think he might have been through enough of life to understand all that, and he's seen his parents fighting. He's experienced enough of that, but has ignored it to some degree.
but he's already thinking about banging his sister. Like,
Yeah, but not even his. That sister doesn't even exist.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of
It's
like
it's all his neighbors. Like the thought of a few of those neighbors that goes through, and the people he had met at that earlier party, the pool party or whatever.
The three girls.
The three
sitting
girls.
there,
So like the other man that his mom married didn't exist. It was just a fabrication of of an idea. But it makes more sense in that way that all of these possible realities could happen and he could have experienced them. You could go with the other way that has the ability to jump dimensions in his mind, which has been done in other sci-fi stories. But this one's a lot simpler of an idea that it's all just happening in the child's mind. So he's thinking about all these possibilities, and that's why he.
So we kind of jumped ahead of ourselves. What do you guys rate it?
Well, we didn't jump ahead too much. We're gonna go in depth still. It was just short enough. It recommended this to me at 4 stars, and while at first I was a little confused with the density of it and going through, I think I'm actually going to leave it at 4 stars. I think that's good. I like the concepts in this enough.
Yeah.
It's visually good. It's well acted. So I'm gonna leave it at 4 stars. It's a strong conceptual film. Since you picked it.
Since I picked it. I really think that this would be I don't know. I'm tempted to watch it again.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what I recommended it to you at?
No.
All right.
I do not. I think it was 4.
Okay.
I think it was around 4 because I wouldn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't
You don't
blind-
want to pick a movie that's like it says 2.5. Let's see.
Let's play that one.
I doubt you, Netflix.
I don't know. Right now, I'm wanting to give it a 3, but I don't know. I feel like if I watched it again, I'd like it better.
Yeah. I mean, it's not one of those two. It is one that seems like it'll fade into a lot of other films that I've seen. It's just been like, that was a good film, but not really one that I'll think about as much. Specifically this one, because it doesn't have. Since it didn't get the theatrical release, we didn't get the advertisements leading up to it, and didn't hear about it in such a way that it sticks in my mind as much as something even like Her, which is a small film.
Right.
But I have so much knowledge about that stuff. But this one does have the big actors in it, but it's still not one that like sticks in my mind in that way, since it was one that I just kind of watched passing. So I kind of worry that it'll become lost in there, but I still hold by.
It's on Netflix appropriately, I guess.
Yeah, it's great that it can be found, and I hope more people can watch because of it, especially if people that like something like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Other kind of cerebral films like this, looking at one's life. How about you? What's your?
I get a 4.
4.
It said that it was like a 3.5, which I would put at 3.5, but I'd love to see a movie similar to this. Even though it didn't have the payout that I wanted, it was still enjoyable, and it made me think. It made me look up a bunch of shit online about the end of the universe and stuff. I went up and started looking about like all this crazy stuff. So
yeah, I really do want to give it a 4, but I'm not.
Okay.
What a dick.
Yeah. Well, it's that it recommends it to you at a 3.5. Like, let me confirm that 3.5. I will not let you. It can do it, but you cannot. All right. So we'll continue discussing more in depth and get into learning about how this film came about being made, as far as we can find, and a little more in the details of it. But next week, Tony, your pick, sir.
From 1997, Funny Games. Lots of subtitles.
All right.
I won't tell you much more. I don't know if you've seen it already.
I think this is the one my brother wanted us to watch, but I'm not sure this is the version that he wanted us to watch.
There's an American
Well,
version
who
from
cares?
2007. This is the original
This is the
version.
Yeah.
Lots of subtitles, but
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. We'll check it
I don't
out.
remember which version my brother wanted us to watch. But
Funny Games!
Well, maybe we'll watch that other version some other time. So we'll talk about Funny Games next week. Till then, thank you for watching. Comment, share, subscribe. Subscribe is always good, because if you subscribe, then good things happen for us, and then we make a lot of more videos. It'll be all good. But we're going to continue discussing Mr. Nobody right